computer. I don't know if it's cloud or computer, but it's recording. So hopefully we can upload it later. So hello guys, happy Sunday. This may be all over the place. I have notes, but something I want to share with you guys is early on in my business, what really helped me. And, I took some notes, but we went to Katie's over the weekend, and, I kind of want to tie it together in the end and just share with you something about success can be intimidating, something about, a big vision or a millionaire goal or something really big used to intimidate me a little bit when I got started. And it took me a while to get my vision off the ground. And, success, I always say, is created, and it doesn't matter where you've been. It doesn't matter where you're at currently. It doesn't matter anything that we tell ourselves and those fears that we may not be worthy, or we may not have it together. And, success, I believe, can be in any type of mindset that you have. It starts in your thought process, your thought patterns, and what you tell yourself every day. And, guys, like before I even hit 12K, so as a 4K leader, people they assumed on my social media that I was at the top of the company. And it was because of my presence on social media and the way I talked and spoke about my why, the way I spoke about what I loved. And they saw the community, of course, and they saw what I was a part of. And that's where your connection will be built, is in what you determine as success, what you truly believe about what you can bring to someone's life. And knowing if you just have one promoter, if you don't even have a team yet, you are already successful because you're in this vehicle. And even if that may be $50 a week and that is your goal, that, to me, hitting that goal is success. What is your definition of success, and what do you want to bring to someone's life to show them, hey, this is what's helped me cover my gas payment for the week. This is what's helped me see something bigger than myself. And I'm working towards this auto bonus next, and I can't wait to have my car payment covered. That, to me, goes so much further and is so much more impactful when you share the little smallest things. And that will unlock a whole new belief in yourself. And it doesn't have to be those God-sized goals and visions. And what we did over the weekend was write a letter to ourselves. And if you have not done that already, please do that, and do it for the next 2 years or even the next year or so. A letter to you that's, you're going to open on that day. You're going to open and read. And for me, I have it on my dream board right behind the computer here. And it took a little bit to get what I wanted down on paper, but it's just you're going to read that, and it's just talk in third person or talk to yourself, or just however you want to write it on that paper. And it starts with, my first sentence is, I am so proud of you. You're going to be so proud when you open that letter in the next 2 years of where you're going to be in this business, because it does take time, of course. Starting your day, like, success is also your day-to-day routine, and what your to-do list looks like, and what you're intentional with when you wake up in the morning, and how are you bringing joy to your audience or to your morning routine, or like to your soul. Joy is one of the hardest things to bring to us, and it takes a lot of challenges. It takes a lot of pain. It takes a lot of people saying double guessing what we're doing and telling us it's a pyramid scheme and all of those things, and you're still showing up. That is where you're going to truly find that joy on the other side of that. And negative self-talk happens. And I wanted to just point this out, you guys, that I'm not naive, and I totally know what it's like to be in a funk and to be real ungrateful and unappreciated and look left and look right, because I've done that. And that is so normal to do. So know that you're human and know it's okay. But still knowing that another woman's success means that it is possible for you. It means that they've already created a life for themselves that you can have in your life. And what do you want to do, and how are you going to flip the narrative? Because for me, it's having a mirror check. It's looking in the mirror and saying, what can I do to change this mindset? And owning that and speaking truth over it. And it may be a 2 to 3 day, just I'm not feeling it. Nobody's in my inbox. It's just crazy. But I still know that I have created a mindset and a path for my life that is going to be so much bigger than what I'm facing at that moment. That is successful to me, guys. So this, like I said early on, I knew that I just created that connection with people to like show people that success is possible. And I would share with my audience things that was relatable, of course. So get to the nitty gritty of what your day in your life looks like that's relatable to people. Because since we are women and men, we're human. It gets hot and heavy and we look left and right. So I want you to think about you. I want you to think about the things that you can relate to someone on, and get on your stories and talk about that. So I also am going to go into 5 different things with you guys before this is over. And, it was a battle. Like I would say after about a year in this, it was a battle between knowing that I could be successful and believing that I could be successful. So it's one thing to look at someone and say, wow, that is awesome. Good for her. Like, I know this works. Like, look at her life. But believing it can happen for yourself, it takes grit. It takes a lot of courage. It takes bravery. It takes fighting in the ring, just like Brene Brown talks about, being on the floor in blood, sweat, and tears, and that guy just kneeing you in the face, and you're just at the bottom, and he's winning. But you know that it took courage to step in that ring. It takes courage to show up and talk about what you're working towards, and you're going to unlock those belief levels as you go and believe so differently. And people know when you are being fake. People know when you're being yourself, because it's just our what we do. We're like, well, I don't know how true that is or whatever. And yes, you're going to have your haters, but believing in something that can truly happen for you, no matter what your life has looked like, that is going to really show your audience something that they can hang on to, something that they can follow up with you the next day and say, oh, I wonder what she's doing. I wonder what Anis is doing. I wonder what Devin, I wonder what Kayla, I wonder what they're doing today. And that keeps that connection with them. And that's why it's so important to be consistent and never lose sight of the women and men watching, because that is where I stayed. There was one time in my business that I was going to walk away. One time the whole 2 years, and I was ready to send a message to support and say, hey, I'm ready to turn this in. Like, I'm just done. It's not for me. And that next month I earned $12K, 16 months in. And what I thought of in that moment is, someone's watching me right now that needs this. There's a single mom on the other side of the screen that is desperate, that is so tired of waking up and hating herself, just so hard on herself. She's so tired. And I know this is going to be that solution for her. That's why I stayed. And of course, my why, but I just had that voice, and that small voice in the back of my mind, knowing that other people needed this, and they do. And they're going to be secret stalking you for years, for months. They're going to say, hey, I've been watching you, and I'm ready now. Like, I want to talk. So a couple things is belief. Number one is belief. I think belief, is very important in affirming your vision and purpose. So it's pretty easy to say our why, but our vision and what we're working towards, we have to affirm and already say that it's happened. It's manifesting, basically. So when you come in and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go 4K, or, you just want to do your product credit for the month, that goal, you're going to already say, I've earned my product credit this month, and it feels so good to get back to my customers next month. So for October, my product credit is secured. You're speaking it, you're affirming it, that it's happened, that you already have it. So affirming that vision and purpose. I said product credit because that is like the best goal to start with, the first of the month. So that's really good. And then no dream is too small. That also goes into believing in yourself, realizing that, yes, we're around empowering women that are so inspiring, but the dreams in your heart if it's just to have your car payment covered, or if it's just to have a little side income, what the dream that you have, or if it's a big dream that you want to build your house one day and have financial freedom, be debt free. Like, no dream is different. No dream is too small. Like, your dream is yours, and owning that and affirming it is so important. And your mindset has to grow. So I do want to touch on this with you. Also, if you do your personal development, are you growing from it? Do you need to switch your personal development up? Sometimes I listen to different podcasts. Sometimes I just go to YouTube channels and search different network marketers and subscribe to the ones that I really vibe with. And I'll get on there a couple times out of the week, and then I'll switch it up. So I'm not always like consumed in self-development, but I know when to shift. I know when I need to switch it. And I know that if I'm changing, my self-development is working. So if you're doing your self-development and you don't feel a shift, you don't feel a mindset change, you don't feel a breakthrough coming, or you're just not in this season and you're not in the swing of things, I encourage you to find someone that you can lean on in this team and ask them for help, because they will direct you to find something that you vibe with and get into your growing your mindset and switching it up. Because the woman you're going to be in 31 days should not be the same as it is right now, same as you are right now. You look forward to that growth. It can be the smallest things that you're growing in, but you will notice such a difference in 6 months. So growing your mind is very important, and changing as you grow with your business. And being number 2 is being your own inspiration. So I talked about this a little bit with Amanda. I don't think she's on here. She was with us at Katie's, and we were talking at the end, and she was like, I'm just so inspired by everyone. And sometimes I still feel like, I just am not getting anywhere. And something that was pointed out to me is that you are the inspiration to your business. Yes, it's wonderful to hear other success stories, but you and what your story is, and the warrior you are, and what you've overcome should be your inspiration to help build that confidence. Because guess what? Confidence is built. It doesn't come. Confidence, you don't just wake up confident. Confidence is built time and time and time again. And you all know the analogy of the bucket that we put deposits in. It's so true. You have a confidence bucket and you're just filling it with a bunch of crap. And your story and what you have to offer someone is going to be so different than the next person. And it's in being inspired by yourself, knowing, hey, it's been this amount of weeks or this amount of months that I've been here, and I'm still a part of something bigger than me. And I'm inspired by that. Giving yourself 6 to 12 months, here in this business. And you can't tell me 12 months later, you're not going to be inspired by you. You're not going to be inspired by this community, by what you're working towards. And being in the building stages, it's so exciting in the beginning, you guys. So you want what someone has, you do what they do, right? You do what they do. And I don't mean copy and paste and mimic and be them, but you do want to mimic some of their actions and take what you want from them and leave the rest. So I don't recommend following tons of thrivers. Please do not do that in your business, because it will ruin everything. Okay. Get like 5 to 10, no more than 10 thrivers. Personally, I've done it. Thrivers used to be the only thing that I saw on my page. And I was like, okay, where's my potentials? Where's my network? So be sure you just have 5 to 10 thrivers that, you connect and vibe with most. And, look at how they talk, look at how they share. Are they going live? Do they stay consistent? Are they really passionate about this vehicle? And look at how they show up, and maybe even send them a message and say, hey, can we do a dual live together? Can we hang out? Can we hang out on a live and just share where we come from and what Thrive has done for us? And look at how they talk to their potentials and ask them questions. Number 3 is share where you're at right now. Share the season you're in right now. and own it. So, you know, hold on, let me think. I'm getting off track. This week, I want you to talk about your goals. I want to talk about what you're working towards. Share that with your audience so that they can see this is going to help you get there. And then when that happens, it's just going to feel so freeing and just like, yes, I did that. And your audience gets to grow with you and take them on this journey. And that's so important to me because for so long, I talked about government assistance. For so long, I talked about my recovery. And now today I have new things to share, and you do want to pivot. You do want to switch it up, but know where you're at in your business and do not be afraid to share what you're working towards, no matter how small it is. If you earned your free product credit, you get on that story and you say, y'all, I just earned my product credit for October. Cannot wait for the second I get my product credit for free. I don't pay for my products, just having that smallest thing that you're working towards, accomplishing it, knocking it off your list and sharing that with them. It's like, wow, that's great. She's really making moves. Like she's really doing this. Showing up as her, that's number 4. The closer you get to the next level, the harder it's going to be. Never gonna soften that. And, I got to keep it real with you guys. The more that you grow in this business, the harder it's going to be, but you just get better. You get better, you grow tougher skin, and you become such a powerhouse. And I want you to look forward to that next level, no matter how hard it may seem right now, because that's so important when you're in Gladys, the harvest seasons, the planting seasons. In any season, you are showing up as that successful entrepreneur. I may not be successful in others' eyes, but to me and to you, you should already know you're successful and speak that and believe that and say, who is that woman? I'm going to show up as her. I'm not going to worry about the negative self-talk because I'm going to speak truth over myself. I want to show women what's possible. I want to show them this is the way out that I needed. It's my solution, and rank means nothing. Rank didn't mean anything to my audience when they saw me as a 4K, barely maintaining, still showing up, passionate about these 3 steps. Like they were like, oh, you're at the top of the company. You're doing so good. I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, thanks. Like, I didn't want to be like, no, I was just like, thank you. Hope you have a good day. Like, you want to show up as her. As a 4K, I showed up as that 40K, right? Who is that? What's her content like? What's her conversations like? Is she on voice messages? Does she put her phone down after a good round of IPAs, or is she still on her phone doing mindless scrolling? Believing that. So people assumed I was successful. I want your audience to assume you're a millionaire. Go ahead and shout that from the rooftops. Even if it's not, just believe. So 5 is being honest with yourself and your audience. So honesty is the best thing you could ever do because it creates credibility. It creates it's just so good to tell your audience where you're at in your day or where you're at, where you're going, even if, you may not think it's going to help someone. That's when you need to share it. Because if you think in the back of your mind, nobody wants to hear what I have to say, that's a lie. That's the enemy. And you have to have that self-talk and say, hey, this is a vehicle and I'm ready to help someone. And I'm going to be honest with you today and say, hey, today's hard. Yes, I'm positive and I say these things, but today's hard and here's why. And follow up with a solution at the end of it, and I mean like on your stories, if you're sharing about it or on a live. I remember a live I did about being a single mom. I want to say like a year ago in October. And I was being honest. I was being honest with my audience to allow them into my life, allow them to see what it was like to be a single mom. And if you were a single mom, I connected with them. It's creating that connection. And I was just, sharing how I had to overcome that. And it wasn't even Thrive related, but I shared that honesty, right? That vulnerability that says, hey, this is really hard. And I had to come to terms with the fact that Lincoln's father is not going to be here. So I have to show up. I had no other option but to say yes to this vehicle. You know what I'm saying? I don't even remember if I mentioned the business, but I was honest with them. So find a topic that you just want to get honest with and real and be like, hey, this is what I want to share with you today. I want to be real upfront, you know? So that's just so important to have that transparency. So, you know, negative self-talk happens. I don't want you guys to think that this is ever going to be smooth, but it's all going to be worth it. And I hope that you guys really got something out of this. I'm going to stop recording. I know it's cutting it short, but let me see your comment, Gladys.